even the public school, they are smart. They will ask you questions. And some of us, what we'll do is, sit down, you like talking. Meanwhile, we don't know. But when you prepare, you may not even know the answer to it, but you have an idea or you know where to research it. Prepare. Let the student have confidence in you that you know what you are saying. Prepare. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Understand the objective and make it clear. It's a shared objective. It is not just you. Okay, at the end, they should understand the types of matter, this and that. No, that is only to you. Share it with them. I want you to know this at the end of the class. So at the end, when they don't know, they should feel free to come and ask. This thing that we said we'll do, I don't get it. Do you get it? Then you get to see the class. So it's not all the 100 students coming to you at once, but you have the 1 or 2 that have delayed learning abilities just coming to you, and you know how to attend to them. Make the session participatory as much as you can. If we have to do the class, there's a school I went, they intentionally come and sit outside, and no, it's not a private school. It is not a private or a posh public school. This is a teacher who has decided it. So on some days, they come and sit under the tree, and this is where we are learning. Forget the blackboard. You and I, we are talking. The kids will remember this moment more than the class exercise you are giving them or the topic given themselves. And once they can remember the moment, trust me, they can write something on the paper. We are not learning for A, B, C, Ds. We are learning to be able to think and be part of the world that is growing. Because right now, no job is looking for, okay, bring me your CV and your WASI certificate and your university grade. That's not what they are looking for. But the soft skills, can you think on your own? Can you solve problems? Can you do this? Can you do that? Things we are not teaching in the classroom. But the things in the classroom are good and will help us be able to develop this. So this is where your blending also comes in. Review and stick to agenda. It is very, very important. You yourself stay on plan. Stay focused. Encourage and solicit questions. Some will ask you dumb questions. You yourself, you know it's dumb. They shouldn't be asking this. But make it feel like you've heard them. Okay, and turn it back at them. What if we do it like this? Do you think this will happen? It tells them that you are interested in me and what I have to say. And you are not calling me a fool or a dumb person in front of my friends. And we have this thing, unfortunately, where we talk down our kids. It is not just teachers. I've seen parents do it. I've seen older siblings do it. It may be dumb, but you are the leader. What would make the farmer leave the 99 and go for the 1? That is what we are looking for. Having open and ended, like the first, when I came, we did what I call a check-in. It is something that I could stand here and then I'll just start talking about what I'm going to do. But I let you interact with one another. Or I ask you questions. So with the kids, if it's a small number, we stand in a circle, and it's in my bag. I have this ball, and then I throw it at you, no order. And I ask you the 3 questions. What are you grateful for? It's always on my list. And then, what did you eat this morning? What do you like that nobody likes? Or what do you hate that everybody seems to like? What is the yuckiest food you've ever eaten? And just that question, them answering it, it calms them down. And it removes all barriers. It's like they become more authentic, real. Okay, I know for you, you are the ruffian one. You are the serious one. So I know them by the way they answer. And then we sit down. They are so pumped up for what's next. And then, so that's what we have as a check-in. And then we do a check-out at the end. So at the end of the session, we ask, okay, so 3 things I learned from today. And how am I going to implement it? Who else needs to know this that doesn't know it? And they always have someone they want to tell. it's amazing. Align the session towards the coaching needs. So again, it takes you to know the kids. You may not know them individually if they are a large number, but you can group them in a way to help you. Promote networking among participants. They may sit in class, but they may not be friends. But when they start talking, they will start appreciating one another, start sharing things. And then use visual learning, as he said. It's very, very important. So you are not doing the chalk and the board, but you're bringing something new into the class. You may not do it every day, but once in a while. You can do videos that you've watched, right? You can bring objects. They don't need to be super expensive stuff. Things around us, and that's the beauty of science. And every science topic is practical. Someone said some of the things that are not practical, but for me, every science thing is practical. You may not have found out yet how to practicalize it, but it is practical. Yes, there's the theory, that's the hypothesis place, but then it flows into the outcome. And that is the fun and the beauty of science. The next one, let me see. Please, any questions so far? So I don't know whether this will be in your brochures that I will be giving you about what we are hoping we will do, okay, as teachers, as learners, so that you're not teaching these courses, you are facilitating. As much as possible, you're creating a positive learning environment, okay, or a learning experience. So when the student is misbehaving or doing something, you have a way, you have decided, predetermined how you handle such cases before you enter the class. So you are not overly surprised. Okay. You are aligning to the coaching, the design. So it's like the formal one. You know which equipment you are taking, whether you are using your phone to show them. So the kids I show, sometimes I take my laptop and then we are watching a movie together. 5 minutes, not long, for them to understand the topic. Sometimes it's my phone. Sometimes I brought the light bulb. All I source myself, and then we do it. It will take time to adapt, but it goes on you to learn from one another. I have this topic, I don't know how to teach it. Then someone will show you a video or direct you to someone, and it makes it easier. I think we are done. It's there with the video, right? The last one is, I love this quote. It says, everything rises and falls on leadership. So whether your children are like Gobe, or like Kinky, or like Jollof, it is only a reflection of who you are to them. Not who you are, but who you are to them. Kids will mimic you. They may not share something with you because they don't trust you yet. Not that they don't like talking. So however you see them is a reflection of who you are to them. So now ask yourself, my children in my classroom, who am I to them? How do they see me? When I'm coming, then they are running away. And I'm also happy. And for this teacher, he's very strict. Yes, you can be strict. Miss Jackie, for example, the lady outside, she's very strict. She will send the parents a long email, like seriously, blasting even the parents.
I have a lot of memories from when I was a
But she will get her work done. And the kids trust that she loves them, because when it's time for love, she's all open arms. And when something is wrong, she would tell you specifically that this thing that you did was wrong. Not you, the child, is wrong. I had a child come to me crying during one of our sessions. So I do teen coaching, saying that the teacher said she's a liar. And to her, because of what we've gone through, she knows that that is a stamp of identity. She may have lied, but she's not a liar. And so that language, it takes time to learn. I'm not saying we are pampering them, but someone will put it on their head for life, and it becomes their identity. We are with them more hours sometimes than they are with their parents. They go home, they do their homework, they sleep. They hardly see their parents. But with you, they are with you all the time. So the words you say to them matter a lot. I'm saying this and there's tears in my eyes. The kid was so sad. This is the same kid when we were reviewing, so sometimes I review their timely reports with them. And she said, Eugenia, see, this teacher told me what I have done where I need corrections. But this teacher said, student is not good, needs to improve. How can I improve on this when I don't know what I'm improving? This is the kid telling me. They want to be better. They want to learn. But you're not giving them tools. You are not being, how do you call it? This feedback. Feedback. Constructive with your feedback. Right? Again, it comes with the objective. Why are you giving them that feedback? Is it for them to improve or for them to know that they are wrong? Is it for you to be seen as right or for the right thing to be done? Those are two different things. So when the objective is set, the actions can now be laid. Okay. A headmistress asked me once when we were dealing with one child, so Eugenia, do you want me to treat this child different from the others? Is he special? So I asked her back, is he special? Because if you don't see him as special, you won't treat him as special. Yes, you have 1,000 students in your school, but is this one special? Or he's just one of them passing through? And it ended up that in the end, the kid was telling the truth. The headmistress didn't have all the facts. He had suspended this kid, disgraced him in front of school, just because she wanted to have an scapegoat. This kid was saying, I didn't do it, but she won't listen. She won't listen. And you expect this kid to trust you, come back to you, respect you. And up to now, I don't know, maybe tomorrow that she'll say, I'm sorry, to either the parent or the child. I say this and I have tears in my eyes. These are kids we are raising. These are the future leaders we want to be proud of. Or tomorrow they'll become just like us. And if you are proud of the environment or the whatever we are in, then these are the siblings we are raising, if they won't be worse. With all the technology and AI that is bringing up. They are not dumb. They are not empty-headed. They need guidance. Train up the child the way he should go. Everything rises and falls on leadership. You are still in control. Sometimes you have to lead from the back. Sometimes you have to go to the front so that they'll see you and know where they're going. Sometimes you have to be their friend, and side by side, we are going. Again, is this child special? Or is he just one of those who are just passing through in your class? This is what separates us from the lot. So I hope that what I said made sense. We'll break for lunch, but I want us to watch a video. And then if there are any questions, we'll just take it from there.
I have a lot of memories from when I was a child. One that's always stuck out to me, though, was when I was about 10 years old, and I was in school, and I struggled. And I didn't struggle with English, math, or science. I struggled holding still. And I would try to listen and focus and process ideas, but I couldn't help myself. And to be honest, I would sit there and then I would just start tapping. And the students in the class would look at me and they'd say, hey, stop tapping. A lot of the time, I didn't even realize I was doing it. And then eventually even the teachers got after me and they would yell at me and they'd say, Clint, you have to stop tapping. It got so bad that I got sent to the principal's office for tapping. And he said to me, okay, maybe when you go back to class, just try sitting on your hands. So I did. I went back to class, and when I felt myself starting to tap, I did this. I sat on my hands. And that worked for about 5 seconds. One time I was tapping in class, and my teacher, Mr. Jensen, looked at me and he yelled, And he said, Clint, stay after class. And I thought to myself, this is it. I am done. Now, I've always been the type of person that believes that a single moment in time can change a person's life. And this was one of those moments for me. And I will never forget it. And so I was sitting there with Mr. Jensen and an empty classroom. And he walked past me and he sat next to his desk and he said, Clint, come here. I want to talk to you. And as he looked me right in the eye, he said, now, I need you to know something. You're not in trouble. But I do have just one question that I have to ask you. And he asked, he said, have you ever thought about playing the drums? And in that moment, Mr. Jensen, he leaned back and he opened the top drawer of his desk. And he reached in and he pulled out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he held them in his hands and he looked at me and he said, hey, Clint, you're not a problem. I think you're a drummer. From that moment on, I've never put those sticks down. I've toured, recorded, and played drums all over the world. My whole college education was paid for with drumsticks in my hand. Just because of a single moment in time when somebody believed in me and he saw something in me that I didn't even see within myself. And from that moment, I learned that there's a difference between being the best in the world and being the best for the world.
So people like Mr. Jensen are not one in a million. They're not a different breed. They don't have different genes in their body. They're just people who decided to take a different step to bring out a talent, something rough, and make it better. And that's the same thing with all the children. They don't know who they are or who they are meant to be. And so some will be tapping as if they are making noise, but they don't know they are drummers. Some will be writing on walls. They don't know they are artists. It takes you giving them the pen and the paper. Again, when you prepare, you will see, you will know them, and you would encourage them. This is what we are asking of you. Not to pay money to do something extra but just put a little more heart into it and deliver for the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eugenia. I mean, as a Sunday school teacher, I didn't think this was important for me, but sitting through it and playing through all my experiences, I can really, really relate. I mean, I had a child who, I like to teach the beginners class. Anybody who is a Presbyterian and has Sunday school, the beginners class is the 1 to 5 year. And they are the place where you can have the most fun and ask the most dumb question, but you are always right. One of the first questions my own son asked me with his friends, I didn't know. We were doing the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And then as we were going through the stories, he stood up and asked me, so Auntie Rosalind, when Jesus died and he was going to be put in the tomb, he had only white cloths, calico wrapped around him. But when he woke up and he came out of the tomb, he was wearing clothes. Where did he get the clothes from? My own son, I mean, I drove him to church that morning. I didn't think he was going to ask me that. But the rule is that when we step out of the car, at the car park, and we get to the church hall, I am not mommy. I am Auntie Rosalind. So you can ask all the things. And so, Eugenia, thank you so much. I am personally, I thought I was only coming to MC, but you have taken me through this, and I'm happy I'm here. It's time for us to ask questions. It's time for us to ask questions. Sylvia, please, if you could join us here. The seats are for you and Eugenia. Please feel free. We are facilitating so you become better facilitators and coaches. I reckon that you are also going to add coaching to what you already do as teachers. And so let's ask all the questions. We still have some 15 minutes. We are going for lunch break at 12 exactly. I want to be very punctual with the time because we have people traveling back. And today is Friday. We know how Fridays are. So we want to keep within the schedule. And so let's keep it short and sweet, but very important. So please, the first question.
All right, thank you. And we thank the presenters as well. Miss Eugenia, I really liked your presentation. Thank you. Please, my question, I had a question when you started, and from the video, it still told me to still ask the question. My question is, you said we should do more of teaching at the early grade. Then the coaching comes in when they are youth. Then at the tertiary onwards, we do the facilitate. Are these stages distinct? If so, then what happens to what we almost agreed on blending? Because we're talking more of we are blending, we blend. If the stages are distinct, then what happens to the blending that we said we were doing? And how best can we do the facilitating if we are to target them post, let's say secondary or post tertiary? Thank you.
Thank you. Just to clarify, I don't mean that at the early stage only do teaching. What I mean is at that stage they are more responsive to the teaching, as in they are being your copycats. They do as you do. So that's when you can take advantage of 2 + 2 is 4. Do you get it? Other than you telling a teenager 2 + 2 is 4, don't argue with me. They would argue with you. I'm just saying that it is easier at that stage than the other stages. Even as adults, if your mom comes to tell, well, let me say my mom, tells me, no, don't do this, I go like, no, I also know. Do you get it? So it's easier to teach at that side, but you also know that when the kids, they learn a lot when they don't think they are learning. When they are playing with the Lego and stuff. Okay, I have 2 red Legos and 2 yellow Legos. If I add it together, what will happen? Then it comes like that. So you are blending your teaching with facilitation. Do you get it? But teaching works more at a younger stage than the other stages. But you don't neglect it. Even as an adult, I still say, yes, ma. Please, I hope it's okay.
When they are at the tertiary level, I'm talking about the facilitation.
At the tertiary level?
Yes, how best should we do that?
So, as someone said, you can have group projects. You can tell them about the objectives ahead of time. Right? At the end, this is what we are learning. Share videos with them. That you guys watch this. Yesterday I was on a coaching call. My coach sent out videos. He says, this is your assignment. And when we come to class, those are the first things he asks. What did you learn from the video? And then the video is linked to what we are going to teach. So he said, Eugenia, you said this. Do you see how it's tying into that? And then he's expanding the topic little by little, if you get what I mean. So you are letting them take the lead, but you are still guiding them. They do project where they can do the presentations. Do you get it? It is student-led. And then come and teach me something new. That's one thing you can tell the kids. They will always want to teach you something. I had a kid on Tuesday tell me that, Eugenia, you don't understand my project. Meaning, my intelligence is not there yet. That is what, and then yesterday when I met, he said, do you understand it now? I still don't understand it. I feel her project will not work, but she's determined to prove me wrong. I'm not arguing with her. I say, okay, she should do it. But we have a time frame and she knows, and it has to work. You get it? I'm still guiding her. And I'm there for when she asks questions about any phenomenon that she needs clarity on. But I won't tell her, no, your idea is dumb. If you get it. So it's like we are learning together. No matter how learned I may be, I still can learn from a little child. There's this thing that they ask, what can the elephant learn from the ant? What can the elephant learn from the ant?
Again, presentation was really, really beautiful. Thank you very much. Mine is more of a suggestion than a question. I want to start by saying that this has to work, this initiative. It's brilliant and it has to work. So I'm going to suggest that if it's at all in your capacity, you could have a schedule to visit the schools. Now, I'm saying this because of the hands-on approach. When you can deal with these numbers we're talking about and the different settings, it might unlock the solutions that we're looking for. So if you could do that, that would be really, really brilliant. Schedule with us once in a while, or just one project to just go around sample a few places, do it. You never know. So that's what I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's actually a very good idea. Because like you said, I love how you started it. It has to work. Guys, it has to work. And I am glad that we have people in this room. I heard some of you from Cape Coast were getting here at 4 a.m. or something, right? And it's because you have the drive. It's because you're determined that something has got to give, that we've got to do something different for the future leaders. And so we know you got what it takes. And we're also here to learn from you. And so these issues with the big class sizes and things like that, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions, but even more so, we want to hear suggestions on how we can overcome this. And just to reiterate, this is not going to be the end. If you were on the Zoom call on Sunday, you guys are not going anywhere. Like, we are peace and rice, all right? We've got you and you've got us. We're building a community that we're going to pour into you, but we also want to learn from you because you guys have the advantage of being at the front of the war front, if you like, right? And so we want to hear what your challenges are. Not just your challenges, but just as much as we're telling you that let the children lead, we also want you to tell us, maybe if we did it this way, maybe it would work. And we're not looking for perfection right now, but we're going to take a step in the right direction. And before we know it, we will be at the top of the staircase. And that's what we're here to do, because this has to work. If you forget anything today, please go home thinking this has to work. So we're here to hear you out. At the end, I'll tell you more about, how, maybe not even tell you, but even, get suggestions on how we can build more of a community. We want to meet every other month on Zoom, online. And I'm thinking that, just like our brother suggested, thank you. If we can get to physical locations and do live streaming and get some of you to, log on at the same time, then we're learning together because we have an actual live scenario where we can, make things work. But yes, thank you. We want to hear from you on how we can do things differently to make things work. This is the first time that I'm hearing that on different levels you have 130 in a classroom. But don't think that it's any different. From the universities abroad, especially for their core subjects, they have about 500 people doing a course for their core subjects. So, and they're way ahead. And so there's something that's working. So we've got to make it work.
There's a hand up there too. Yes, just A quick one. We forgot about this. Please, for us to also relate and know ourselves, it won't, I would propose that when you want to ask a question, kindly introduce yourself, just your name and where you're coming from, so that at least it helps with the networking. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Christian Mensah Sawado. I'm the Executive Director for African Center for Business Innovation. And we train young people, old people with ideas of their own into becoming people they want to become in themselves, achieving their vision. On this note, we'd like to congratulate you on this bold initiative that you've taken for yourself. And we would want to make an input to make it better, to make it work. With Ubuntu focusing on footballers, we all know that our footballers, language has become a barrier. The method of imparting or facilitating or coaching, in which language is it going to be? I feel it's going to be an add-on if we'll prioritize our local languages in imparting this knowledge, in coaching these young people. If we can convert our model, like what we do at African Center, in conjunction with Scientific Animation Without Borders, an institution affiliated to Michigan State University. If we can do this and widen the scope, we believe knowledge will better be shared, skills will better be acquired, and attitudes are going to change for effective entrepreneurial skills, for effective leadership skills, and effective achievement of our vision. This is a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian, for your passion in all this. I just want to, first of all, correct what you said. This, whilst Soccer for Dreamers was set up to encourage and build soccer players up to be the best that they can be, our initiative, Ubuntu, goes beyond that. We are here for every child in Ghana. And this is the reason why we've taken this approach to go through the schools. We want to get as many children as we can. And if you're here, that's why we said that we need the buy-in of your principals to start with, so that they delegate the teachers to be here. With a small number of people here, we are actually impacting more than 25,000 children beyond the small room. That is how impactful we want to be. There's 33 million citizens in Ghana, out of which I think about maybe 50%, I'm not sure what the percentage of, is between the youth and children. But we need to reach each and every one of them, and this is the best way. We need every school, both private and public, to get on board this. This is just a pilot. So we're here to see how best it can work. We're doing the work, we're correcting it as we go along. You will tell us what issues we're having, we will solve it together. By next year, we're running with this. And we're going to fight hard with, with government, with the Ghana education system to make sure that every school gets on board. Because, like my brother said, this has to work. So I hope I've corrected you. In doing that, we're obviously very open to all collaborations, because especially with the youth, we know there are vocational schools that don't fall within the remit of GES and things like that. So we're open to collaborations, absolutely.
It's almost 12, and so we'll take maybe 2 more questions. Okay, so it looks like, Eugenia, if you want to give an award, those on the side will win.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Gold. I work with Lead for Ghana, an NGO, and I'm teaching at Amasaman Senior High School. I saw that there was someone from the Ministry of Education here, if I'm correct, from the Complementary Education Agency. But we are the SHS. I don't know if it's possible to go through GES so that it can be on the school's timetable, because currently everything has to be within school hours. And if it has to be a club, it can't be outside of school hours. You can't do it on weekends, and it's going to be quite difficult. But right now, there's something called PLC, where teachers are being trained on the new curriculum and teaching methods, etc. During that time, students are mostly alone. I know there are going to be programs for them, but looking that you have links with the Ministry of Education, if it is possible, to kind of build that link with them so that during PLC, when the teachers are meeting, this program can also be run alongside. I think it will be helpful, because most of these things, we only got to experience them in the universities, maybe one seminar, or after school, when you're looking for a job, there are seminars around, but looking at it at primary, secondary, it's going to be good if it's something that is stayed, and then it's like everyone can go through it once they are in school for the 3 years that they are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're absolutely right, and that's our goal during this pilot. Once we have results, I believe we can go show GES. We're doing evaluation whilst all of this goes on. I've told you that you can't do without us. We're sticking like peas and rice, right? And so we have evaluation. We'll be talking to you. We'll be talking to the children. In 6 months, we should be able to tell how much even you have developed, how much the children have learned and developed. In a year, we should be able to measure all these things. And then I believe that when we have that, we can go to the GES and say, this is the program that we had. We had a sample pilot's sample of more than 25,000 students and at least 60 teachers, and these are the results. I believe when we go to them, the main goal is for them to get the endorsement and go through that. That's the only way that we can reach the country. And so yes, to answer your question, it's very much in the works and plans. Thank you.
My name is Millicent.
Just a minute. Unfortunately, we will take yours and his. So please have the mic. Yours will be the last question, and then we'll go for lunch. And then when we come back, you can note down your notes so that when we are doing the final evaluation and assessments and reviews, we can ask all those follow-up questions so that we can be on time. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Millicent from West Hill School. Now, my question is based on the video that we watched. Now, when you look at the video that we watched, there was this child who had great potentials in other areas, aside the normal things that we teach in class. Now, when you go to most of our schools, we have some of these students in our schools who are being repeated in class just because you're not good with the maths and science and in other areas. Now, how do we deal with such students and such situations?
You want to deal with the students, not the teachers who are repeating them.
The whole situation, how do we go about? Because
see, that is what we want to change.
Have good potentials, they have skills, but then they are being repeated.
I'm glad you recognize that. So they are not the issue. They are not the issue. That's what I want you to get out of your head. So as I said, if you are not able to communicate with a disabled person, maybe they are not disabled. You are not able enough to communicate. So when you take the reins of the responsibility and say, I'm going to figure it out how to get to this child, that is when things begin to change. And every child will be different. Every situation will be different. So I can't say it's cast in stone. But just give the child a minute. Why is it that he's always making noise? He's always bullying someone. There's always a reason behind the reason behind the reason. And if you're inquisitive enough, you will find out. Sometimes at home, mommy and daddy are fighting, or they are beating him. So when he comes here, this is the only place he feels he can express himself. There's a reason behind the reason behind the reason. They are not the issue. So instead of us saying, we are going to repeat you, right, which would bring them down, their morale down. Yes, you are trying to help them to learn. But if you couldn't teach them during the time they were in the class with you, what makes you think that you'll be able to again? Is it because they just stayed extra hours? No. Maybe they may need extra classes, a one-on-one. That's when you have PTAs, and then sometimes some schools, I don't know if the public schools do this, the parents come in, and then the parents and the teacher can have a talk on their child. This is what is happening. What do you think we can do? Because we are all handling the child. Do you get it? Maybe the parent doesn't close early, so the child goes to the mom's office or dad's office. By the time he gets home, it's 10 p.m. When would he do his assignment? He's doing it in the car and all the potholes, so his handwriting is not well. There's a reason behind the reason behind the reason. So let's not make the children the issue. Let's see how we can help. Be inquisitive. Ask your fellow teachers, how can I help? And don't run into judgment first. For this child, he doesn't respect. For this child is this. No. There's a reason behind the reason. I say this because of the experiences I've had with teen coaching. Remember the story of the headmistress? The kid was not the fault. But because she wanted an scapegoat. And I say it's because she wanted an scapegoat for something that has been happening in school, and he just fell victim. Do you want to be right, or you want the right thing to be done? So, I don't know if I've answered your question. I know I've thrown it back at you to find a solution. But, yeah.
Well, just to add a little bit, from my personal experience, I think that, like she said, you treat every child separately. Find the bright spot in the child and encourage the child to feel worthy. Once the child knows that the teacher has seen that I am good at this, you realize that it reflects in all the other things, because then he wants to also be good. He wants to be better at what you have identified, but he also wants to be good at the others that he's weak in. So that is why we always say that teaching is a calling. Teaching is not a profession. Because if you don't have a big heart, for even those of us who teach at Sunday school, you realize that it is a calling. Not everybody can be a teacher. So if you are there, pray to God to bless you with that calling so that you can enhance it. She just said that, look, what was one of the best things that happened to you as a teacher? And one of my experiences came to me as a pupil teacher. And every time I think about it, I just didn't know that I had made that impact. And so ask yourself, 20 years from now, if you met your students, how would you feel? And let that feeling, the conscience of that feeling, inspire you to help that child, so that 20 years from now, you would. I have a child who says, Auntie Rose, minyesika, metoka amount first. And why would he want to buy a car for me before the parents? So please, let us do that. I hope we have answered your question. There are two more questions. Auntie Sylvia, can we pick them? Very short ones. So yours first, and then hers will come, then they would answer, so that after that, no, so let's have him first. He has it's a follow-up to his. So, sir, please allow her to do the follow-up, and then this one there, we beg you.
Apologies, follow-up. My name is Sewa. I think that as educators, one of the things we must learn to practice is kindness. You see, when you have a class full of children and they are unable to approach you, then it means that the fundamental thing is wrong as a teacher. The very loud children in class must be able to come to you and say that, Auntie Rose, this child is this and that. So you must know, at least have a general overview of all your children. Some of the students have problems like dyslexia, mild autism and things like that. So at least you should be able to identify them and know that I have special needs children in my class. But they are all in it. Bible says that you cannot throw any child away. But at least as their parent or teacher or educator for that time, you must know the kind of students or children you have in your class. If you're approachable, they will come to you. If a child has a difficult situation at home, they might not tell you straight away, but you would see, they will come to you, maybe just lean on you, and you will know that this child has probably a problem that needs to be paid attention to. So as educators, I think that one of the key things is to be kind. Kindness, kindness, kindness. Like Auntie Rose said, you might even have like an Obama in your class, a Kufuor in your class, a Rawlings in your class. You don't know. You see, if you're mean to them and you see them on TV, they will not even mind. So just be kind. Always be kind and let the children come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll take your...
Thank you. I'm Joel from Cape Coast, Agri Memorial. First of all, I want to appreciate the organizers of this program. I really learned a lot. And I want to encourage my colleagues here that we can make this happen. We can make it happen. I believe in that because a similar program was organized for us last Character First Education. I had the privilege to attend. And I'm telling you, my colleagues are here. When work on it, get resolved. I believe that the challenges might be there, problems might be there. Yes, that's not our focus. But in the little way, what can we do to make positive change as they're talking? So I think that we all decide we can make a change. But the question I have is this. If you can educate us something small about inclusive education, we have other people with special needs, how do we make sure that take them all along? I think we didn't talk much about that. There's something.
You want us to say it right now? I thought you were asking that we include inclusive training in what we are doing.
I think that will be so that whilst drafting or crafting, yes. No, because, yes, I think he's also asking how we can include it so that you know how to attend to children with special needs. Because more and more we are trying to find out that we have children on the spectrum of autism and we do not even know that dyslexia, that thing is always a problem for me. Children who can't read and write, not because they don't want to, but everything is stuck up in their heads. We don't find them, and because, especially in a typical public school where everybody is coming in, you have 100 children, all the teacher is thinking of is, so we need to talk about it, and this probably will be one of the nice ways because they may not be very good writing and speaking, but you realize that, like we just said, they are also very good at other things. So lunch is being served right now as we speak, but the thing is that we can't have lunch in here. So even though you are being served your lunch, if you want to eat, you will need to step out and use the setting provided outside. We are doing all this so that we can save some time and we'll be able to cover up all the rest of our activities on the schedule, and then we can still close on time. So please enjoy your lunch. We are back here. It's 12:15 by the watch. We are back here at 12:45. We are back here at 12:45. So please enjoy your lunch.